Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Jesper Birch Jensen and I work as an equity research analyst here at ABG. And with us today we have the founder of Bublar Group, Magnus Granqvist, who's going to tell us a little bit about the company and its plans for the future here. So with that said, please go ahead, Magnus.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we founded the Bublar Group in 2015 and we are today 270 employees in 7 cities. Our main office is here in Stockholm and we're listed at Nasdaq First North Growth Market. We have had a tremendous growth mainly through acquisitions, and the largest acquisitions we did was Goodbye Kansas. That's in a solid turnaround phase. They were into our bookings from May 1st, and their turnover, the Q1 to Q3, was 190 million crowns. And that's actually a fantastic growth comparing to last year. It's up, the revenues are up 85% corresponding the year 2019. And also an EBITDA level around 0 for this period. As I said, they are incorporated into our group from consolidated from May 1st. And we in the group this period we show an EBITDA of minus 27 million, and that's mainly because we have not activated the cost for our 2 big game productions. And we also have a seasonally a little bit weaker season in July, August. In Goodbye Kansas and in Wobbling, that other subsidiary, but that's back on positive level for EBITDA in September. So next slide, please. Our value proposition. As we all know, the world is now fast going digital, and it's going visually digital as well. So what we do in our group is that we combine the cutting edge technology with content. People expect their experiences in the digital world to be as good as in the physical world and to be more so authentic as ever. And we offer our customers their most treasured visual experience by converging cutting-edge technology with world-class artistry. Next slide, please. Our business and our companies are built upon 3 cornerstones. The world-class artistry, that's our structural capital, the process we have to create digital content, to create characters and creatures. We will see examples of that. The other one is the cutting-edge technology. We will work a lot within the XR, that's augmented and virtual reality, the VFX pipeline, and also the performance capture. The third one is valuable IP creation, and that's also where the magic happens. Here we create the IP software that we use for our services and also IP content rights in games and movies. This is the opportunity for our scalable business, and that will increase starting next year. Next slide, please. Looking into the revenue streams, so far in our group, there are mainly project-based revenues, but we have started to gain revenues out of licensing and recurring revenues and sales of software and solutions. In next year, we will also see the third one when it comes to IP creation, when it comes to in-app revenues, especially from our mobile games and mobile services. Next slide, please. And we have an outstanding customer base. We work with the leading movie, film, streaming, and game companies out there. Everything from Netflix Disney, Warner, and the leading game studios like Epic, behind Fortnite, CD Projekt, Electronic Arts, etc. We also work with several of the leading Swedish export companies that you see on the lower row here. And that's especially when it comes to virtual and augmented reality. And during these first years, they have been very much testing out the new technology, done several like proof of concept to see how we can implement the technology into their organizations. And they're now more and more increase their investment into especially visual experiences when it comes to augmented reality and virtual reality, especially when it comes to virtual simulation, where you have VR goggles and try out different things virtually instead of doing them physically in training and learning, etc. That's very exciting. You will see some videos out of that later on. Next slide, please. The thing is also that we are, our business is based upon a very solid base of rapid growing industries. And these industries within games, movies, XR and streaming services are also converging. The film industry, for example, today when we deliver our solutions there, they produce everything in video game engines like we do when we make our games. The COVID-19 have affected especially the film and movie industry. They have delayed the recordings and so on, and putting actors in the same place and so on. So the film industry now turning more and more into CGI-based content that we build up in computers. And here I would like to emphasize that Goodbye Kansas have done a really nice shift mainly towards the gaming industry. So today around more than 60% of the revenue streams actually comes from the expanding game industry. And we are quite certain that the film industry after COVID here will wrap up. So that will be really good for us. Next one, please. So let us have a closer look on our show reel, starting with the Goodbye Kansas. So next slide, please. And here, once again, please. We see a short reel of 1.5 minutes. So. Thank you. Next slide, please. So everything you saw here was actually built in computers. And one thing that will have a tremendous growth forward is what we call digital humans. That means that we will start to interact with computers in a humanized way and not based on technology. It won't be a technology-focused interaction. It will be more humanized. And a couple of days ago, I read about Gartner that actually predict that 85% of all organizations' interaction with humans will be non-humanized. And a lot of this interaction will be through digital avatars. And what we do within the group is that we work with several companies where we combine our ability to create these digital avatars and combine that with artificial intelligence. So we as humans can have a good interaction in real time with services. Let's see how it can look here. This is an example where we work together with a US-Australian company, Unique. Next slide, please.
Health assistant, and I have been trained to answer your questions about the current COVID-19 virus. Click Let's Chat to speak to me.
Next slide, please. Now we're into the XR technology, that's augmented and virtual reality. And that's a really key focus for our group. We are working closely with you can have next slide, please, with the head-mounted display manufacturers like Oculus and HTC. And we as a group are also merging into building scalable products. We're turning it from an agency group with product-based revenues and go into products. And one of our first projects that we worked hard with in 2020 is our VR Firefighter. We are right now building an international sales network of these products, and we already received our first order. So that's really showing promising way. We can have a next slide. We will see a video of how the VR Firefighter works, where we combine our software together with hardware products. In this case, organizations can train in firefighting. Just an example, it's just the first product in a line of a product portfolio that we're creating. Please go on with the video. Thanks.
Fire is dangerous. Everybody knows it, and we don't want to put people in danger if we don't need to. The firefighting simulator is really great for it. In VR, we can come really close to a realistic situation. It can be like a hotel room or an office space or a warehouse. That doesn't really matter. It matches the real thing. It's more cost-effective and sustainable.
We use Fusion 360 to CAD up the parts. After that, we 3D print them and test them out on the actual fire extinguisher. We have 2 track parts, so it's one on the handle and one on the nozzle. Before, we used Vive trackers for our first prototype of the fire extinguisher. We're now moving over to the Oculus Quest to get a more portable fire extinguisher. Just like in a real-world scenario, you have to pull out the pin, you have to aim the nozzle and then press down on the handle to get the virtual fire extinguished.
Basically, we can take any mesh and we put it through a voxelized system. With that, we can really create a realistic fire spreading. So when the node is put on fire, it lights up its own flames with their own particle system that connects to a smoke system that starts to smoke fill the entire room. We have had people like bending down to avoid the smoke and trying to wave it away from the face just to be able to breathe.
Thank you. During COVID-19, we also see a massive boom in the retail industry. And here is our other product. It's a SaaS-based product that enables retailers to actually show their products in 3D. Instead of having a 2D screen, as we're used to when we're browsing products on different internet sites, we actually have the software that can take this product and people can try them out in their own homes or on their bodies with virtual try-ons. And with this service, we offer the retailers a possibility to use the technology for like $99 to $299 a month. So let's have a look at how that software works. Please go on.
I'm Jordan, one of the co-founders of Pure Cycles, and I manage the direct-to-consumer business and the e-commerce business. We like to be on the cutting edge, and we like to be experimental. And here in AR, I was like, oh, look at this. Your brain starts to think that you're looking at the product. And you can get really close into it and see, great detail about it. Creating the model was super easy. We already take photos of all of our bikes, so we uploaded those to the marketplace, and within a couple of days and one revision or two, it looked exactly like our bike. And then it was seamless. It just popped right into our store. I think it's much easier to see the frame in AR and walk around it and see the geometry. And if you can see it in your apartment or see it in your living room, it feels more real. Between 50 and 60% of our visits are mobile. Of that, 60-70% of that's Safari. And it's enabling all those customers to see our products in AR without having to do anything. And AR is a better experience. It's not something you can get in a series of photos online. And so we obviously want to offer that to our customers.
Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. It's and especially with this software, we actually work with Shopify, which is a leading e-commerce platform. We have noticed we have a little bit slow speed up when it comes to expanding on this SaaS software, and that's mainly because the retailers and the product owners, they don't have 3D objects actually of their products. So that's why we focus on in our Manila office to actually be a 3D factory of reproducing these assets into products that can be shown through the software. So that's an evolution that will really start this upcoming years. So now we go into Virtual Brains. Next slide, please. And in Virtual Brains, we have two prominent platforms. Next slide, please. There we go. We have two technology platforms in the bottom here, and we work with leading IPs to create new services with a really scalable business model. On the right side, you see the movie-making platform that's out of the acquisition we did of Plotagon last week. We'll come back to that one. On the left side, we use our real-world games platform. That's the one we use to create outstanding games, 3D-based, map-based games. And we have today Otherworld Heroes that's in soft launch still. And we work on the details for that one. And the other one is, of course, Hello Kitty, as you are well aware of. We can have the next slide, please. And we have big promises for the Hello Kitty launch this summer. As you all know, it's one of the absolute biggest brands, media brands in the world. It's actually the second highest grossing media franchise out there. So that shows that there's a lot of consumers out there that would like to have an outstanding game product. And we have one of the few platforms actually to deliver that kind of service. So we have in our Virtual Brains studio, we have full speed ahead on our two productions. So we can take next slide, please. I would like to talk a little bit more about last week acquisition of this exciting company, Plotagon. We did this acquisition mainly because of they have an outstanding and very proven, several years proven platform that make it possible for users actually to create their own animated videos in minutes. And for those who know the software, they can do it in seconds. And Plotagon just recently went into partnership with one of the leading global avatar networks, the Korean Sepeto, that's owned by Naver. And we are jointly, we can have next slide, please. We are now in production of a joint app where we will, from Bublar and Plotagon side, we will run the app and Sepeto and Naver will do the marketing for it. So it will be mainly towards the existing 180 million registered users in the Sepeto world, and also through Naver and Sepeto's social channels out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Sepeto's users today, they are mainly based in Korea and Japan and Southeast Asia and China, where the app goes under the name SciSci, and US and Russia, UK and Germany and so on. The company is, the Naver is a big Korean tech conglomerate, partly owned by SoftBank and Sequoia. And what we also think is interesting here is that we also get a good partnership when it comes to rolling out the Hello Kitty game later on this summer. We also think it's interesting because in just a couple of weeks ago, the biggest band around the world in music industry is from Korea, both in K-pop and K-drama. Big Hit Entertainment, for example, went in as owners of Sepeto. And Big Hit Entertainment actually did Korea's largest listing. They went IPO this October, and it was the biggest IPO in 3 years in Korea. So of course, there's a lot of consumers out there that we potentially can attract with this new movie-making platform. So that's a really important cooperation for us. We can have a look at how the Sepeto network works like. It's an avatar-based network where you actually create the avatar through your cell phone, and you enter and meet other people into the network. You can play games and so on in the network. So please run the video. Thank you. Then we have the last slide. As you see, it's all about virtual worlds. It's about avatar. It's about computer-generated experiences. And that's exactly where we are in Bublar Group. Our main focus now is secure the ongoing turnaround for Goodbye Kansas. We also gonna next year take this exciting products with a good go-to-market approach next summer. That comes both to the Sepeto app and also the Hello Kitty, and also running out Otherworld Heroes. We will also leverage on our expanding customer base. We work with some of the biggest company here, and we have just scratched the surface when it comes to delivering of our services. So we can easily just stay inside that client network and expand rapidly. So that's also a key focus for us. When we have secured these things, we will later on then grow in other markets and in other areas. But right now, that's the main focus. So that was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magnus. We're actually running out of time here a little bit, so I'd like to thank you for coming here and telling us more about Bublar and your exciting plans for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.